I've been using the iPhone 14 Pro for 3 months, and I think it's one of the best iPhones Apple has ever made. When I got this phone, I initially had a bad experience due to the short focus distance on the main camera, iOS 16 software issues, and the larger camera module. Now, after using it for 3 months, I've stopped caring about all those initial issues, and I've started to really enjoy using this phone. I haven't switched to any other phones after all this time. Even if I wanted to, eSIM would make it very hard, even though it's possible to convert eSIM to other phones or even get a new physical SIM card from T-Mobile. I've used this phone longer than any iPhone 12 series device because it's the most refined iPhone yet. Most of the iOS 16 software issues that I encountered in September have been fixed with software updates, and the software experience is much better now, with a lot of new iOS 16 features being added, especially with 16.1 and 16.2. I've also had bad software issues with iOS 13 and iOS 14 upon their initial release. One interesting note is that after I made my first video on the iPhone 14 Pro, most of my software issues stopped happening without me updating the phone. I assume most of these issues are just launch model problems, as I've never actually bought an iPhone on its launch day before the iPhone 14 Pro. The camera focus distance has become less of an issue for me lately since I've used it for a while now, and I've gotten used to pulling my phone back for a better picture now. The cameras have performed amazingly over the 3 months that I've used the phone, with absolute perfect detail, amazing colors, and great clarity. The 48 megapixel lens really does let you crop in further without losing clarity, as you see right here. The battery health is still at 100% with 159 charge cycles, and I don't predict it going down anytime soon. The battery life still lasts fine, but I haven't had any battery issues with phones in the last few years anyway. I'm getting around 5 hours of screen on time, sometimes more and sometimes less depending on what I'm doing on the phone. There is luckily no visible burn-in on the OLED. I'm hoping that burn-in doesn't become a problem in the future for these phones, but I've never had a problem with burn-in on a new phone, so I'm not expecting it. The phone is also in perfect condition still, with some heavy scratching on the screen protector, which I haven't replaced since I applied it on launch day. The stainless steel has had some minor scratching, but I buffed it out with some metal polish about half a month ago. There is some scratching around the charge port, but that just happens from normal use, and that'll happen on a lot of other phones too. I do recommend this phone now that most of the issues have been fixed, since it's a great and refined iPhone with little issues. I'm hoping that there's no long-term problems with this iPhone lineup, since other iPhones have had some pretty major issues. The main problem that a lot of people are having is relating to the stock and production rate of these iPhones, as I've seen stories of people waiting over a month to receive their 14 Pros. I pre-ordered mine with no problem, and I got a 512GB gold model. Right now, if I wanted to order a 14 Pro, it would take until January 11th to ship. A couple stores in my area do have the 14 Pro in stock though, and I could get it delivered from the store for $9. It seems like everybody in the end forgot about the SIM card tray being removed, as I haven't heard anybody talking about it for a while. It doesn't really affect the usability of the phone, as I've been using a Verizon Test Drive eSIM alongside my T-Mobile eSIM for a few weeks, and both the SIM profiles have worked just fine. I haven't noticed any coverage difference or any speed difference. It just kind of seems like the same thing as a SIM card. You just can't pop this one out and put it in a different phone if you wanted to, which is very annoying for those who wanted to do that, but I guess it does force people into using the same phone for longer periods of time, and you can consider that a good thing or a bad thing. It really doesn't affect me though, since I don't really like switching phones anymore anyway. I think the physical SIM card removal will end up similar to the headphone jack removal. Some people will keep complaining about it for years, but this time there's less controversy around it because the SIM tray was used way less often. Thank you for watching this video, hopefully you enjoyed, and goodbye.